What year is it?
It was brand new.
No. What year is it?
1995, remember?
You got some ID?
Over the years, we have seen a lot of different book adaptations, especially for high-profile movies. In fact, our last episode was on Jurassic Park, which was adapted from a 1990 Michael Crichton novel. At this point, if a book is successful and popular, some studio will inevitably option the rights and assign a screenwriter to adapting it. One of the biggest questions, though, is how faithful do audiences expect a movie to be to the book? A way for screenwriters to get a ton of creative leeway is to work on an adaptation of a children's book. One of the most popular children's book illustrators, who has had multiple books adapted into films, is Chris Van Allsburg. Van Allsburg is probably best known for The Polar Express, which is a popular Christmas story where a boy boards a train heading for the North Pole that stops outside his house. At the North Pole, the young boy is allowed to ask Santa for anything, and he asks for a reindeer's bell to prove he's been there. But the bell falls through a hole in his pocket on the train. The next day, the bell is left in a box under the tree from Santa. He can hear it, but his parents can't. Tom Hanks optioned the rights for The Polar Express in 1999, and it turned into a passion project which developed into a 2004 film where Hanks plays 5 roles. Tom Hanks read for another Van Allsburg adaptation, but eventually had to turn it down because of scheduling conflicts. That was an adaptation of Van Allsburg's other extremely popular children's book, Jumanji. Jumanji is a picture book about 2 children named Judy and Peter who find a magical board game with the words, "Do not start unless you intend to finish" on it. They decide to play it, and each turn releases wild animals and natural disasters into their house, including a lion, a stampede of rhinos, an explorer, and a monsoon, each one wreaking havoc on the house.
Jumanji, a game for those who seek to find the way to leave their world behind. You roll the dice to move your token, doubles gets another turn, and the first player to reach the end wins. You want to play?
Van Allsburg says that the word Jumanji came from a Zulu word meaning many effects. The game ends when Judy finishes the last turn and yells Jumanji, and everything goes back to normal. The movie Jumanji took a while to conceive. Originally, Chris Van Allsburg was asked by the producer and Mandalay CEO Peter Guber to draft a screenplay and treatment of his children's book. Peter Guber brought in Joe Johnston, who directed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and would go on to direct Jurassic Park 3, the first one not directed by Spielberg, and Captain America, the First Avenger, as well as a trio of writers, including Armageddon writer Jonathan Hensley, Greg Taylor, and Jim Strain. After Tom Hanks backed out, TriStar Pictures agreed to finance it as long as Robin Williams could be convinced to star.
Get out of there! Ah, 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 ah! Ooh, 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 ooh. Monkeys! Monkeys!
Although Joe Johnston had reservations about Robin Williams, who constantly improvised and rarely stuck to scripts, the writing team set about drafting a screenplay Robin Williams would agree to stick to.
In the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8.
Robin Williams played Alan Parrish, a kid who gets stuck in the Jumanji game in 1969 after his classmate Sarah abandons the game after being chased out by bats. 26 years later, Judy and Peter move into the abandoned house, where everyone assumes Alan Parrish was murdered after his disappearance. Judy is played by a very young Kirsten Dunst, who had just broken out as the child star of Interview with the Vampire.
What have you done?
What you told me to do!
Leave a corpse here to rot?
I wanted her! I wanted to meet her!
Alan Parrish's parents were heartbroken by his disappearance. His esteemed but emotionally unavailable father, played by Jonathan Hyde, accused of murdering him, and they died after giving up everything to find him. These huge, lasting consequences of each role, not just the 12 Monkeys-style chaos, but on everything, are a common theme in Jumanji. The kids and the adult Alan Parrish track down the adult Sarah, played by Bonnie Hunt, and they must complete the game to get everything back to normal. Many of the effects of Jumanji, the lions, the monkeys, huge spiders, and Monsoon, are taken directly from the children's book. A character also taken from the book, but fleshed out a bit more, is the explorer known as Van Pelt, who is determined to track down and kill Alan Parrish.
Aren't you afraid? Terrified. My father told me you should always face what you're afraid of.
Van Pelt is also played by Jonathan Hyde and represents a quasi-spiritual representation of Alan Parrish's father's emotional unavailability. But mostly, he just takes advantage of America's extremely lax gun laws to try to hunt him.
Now, anyone asks, you didn't get this here. You're not a postal worker, are you?
The four players are assisted and sometimes hindered by Carl Bentley, the one cop who might not be ACAB, and who is hilariously played by David Alan Grier. The movie invents new threats, including giant mosquitoes who bite people and send them to the hospital, vines that infect people, and a role that turns Peter into a Planet of the Apes style child actor turned child ape. The movie did immensely well at the box office, overtaking Toy Story and bringing in $260 million. It was less well received by critics. The CGI effects do not hold up well, and many of the critics who watched it felt like they were covering up a pretty thin story. On a personal level, I was just traumatized by the size of the mosquitoes.
Do you know how to drive?
No, that's no problem. Well, my dad used to let me back the car down the driveway once.
Anyway, before I introduce the panel, let me say, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Also, we are now monetized, so if you have any pressing questions during this live show, send us a super chat. We are absolutely obligated by international law, human rights law, to answer it. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. All of our after parties are available on there forever. Okay, let me introduce the panel. Jan Duworld, illustrator, book cover artist, comic designer, and artist for Give Them an Argument, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza and Bad Takes. Conan Neutron, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Britonic Reversal, and frontman for Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Kristina Oakes, when she's not dog-sitting, you can find her streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/cosmopolitics. You can find her on Twitter and Instagram at @cosmopolitics. Throw her some subs on Twitch. Rayyvana, she hosts Reactions on Twitch, is a Rebel HQ contributor on TYT, and co-hosts Taking the L and Red Flag. Ali is a Twitch streamer with a channel called Ali is Crying. She is also on Letterboxd. I, of course, am your host, Forrest Miller, wandering Ronin of the podcast panel and samurai of the clip-cutting school. Without further ado, let's get started.
Those mosquitoes are straight
Your intro to me is she also has a letterbox.
All right, well, so we do this bit called Letterbox One-Liners, and
Yes.
we've brought people on for like that we found on Letterboxd a bunch of times.
Oh my god!
Which is not the situation with you, but so every time someone has a letterbox, I plug it.
We do a bit. You'll feel it. I know it seems like a weird thing to include on
was not
somebody's
what I was expecting to
biography.
hear.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't
God.
expecting it either. It was a big surprise to me. And
As the person who does that bit, I appreciate it actually. So
I
no
do have
one
a
comes-
letterbox though.
Also be
It's
like
not
Queen of
good.
Photoshop.
Well, Conan asks everyone that comes on like if they're on Letterboxd because he.
But it sounds like I'm selling something. I'm like, no, you don't need to be. It's fine if you're not on there. It's not a big deal. Like I just want to include.
I
You.
got letterboxes for you. I got letterboxes for you.
You're not a
$5 for
postal
$1.
worker, are you?
Yeah.
I actually remember my next door neighbor was a postal worker. And when I saw this movie, I told him he needed to watch this. No,
Okay,
he
that's not
loved postal workers.
The
shooting up
classic
places
Andy
jokes.
Bon Mott.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's a story about. Never mind.
I'm losing my mind.
Can I just say no? That's what this show is. Can I just say that I forgot how casually horrifying this movie is? Like, this is like ostensibly like a fun kids adventure movie. There's some terrifying business in here.
It's not
Really?
fun if
Horror
you're.
movie
It's not
for
fun if you're
kids.
one of the kids. That's what I'll say. If you're one of the
Yeah.
kids watching this, it's not a fun.
Yeah,
adventure.
because
Like,
I'm
I'm not
not
saying
by
the
this.
special effects have held up because they really haven't. But I'm saying if you think conceptually, like those mosquitoes alone, it's like that is kind of like when he's like going through the windshield. I'm like, that sucks, man.
But
Yeah.
Ali just watched it for the first time, so I'm.
I
Yeah.
didn't think it was horrifying at all. I was like,
Yeah,
I
big
don't know.
mosquito fan. Okay.
Well, I grew up watching horror movies a lot, so that was like pretty tame. Though I was
Same.
Look.
I was scared of Jungle Book as a kid, though. So
Well, what I'll say is like for a movie that's ostensibly sold as like, hey, here's this fun adventure movie for the whole family, like some kind of like wild, screwed up stuff like happens in here, which is
No one
very much an
dies.
'80s movie.
Yes.
You know, I think plenty of people die. It's just off camera, so they don't get like peachy.
Yeah.
that's not my problem. I'm not seeing it.
That one lady collapses in the car, and I'm pretty sure she's dead. Like the car.
It's like going
No,
into
she's
teasers.
shaking. That was she took the vaccine.
Yeah.
That was the
And it's
vaccine
obvious that the
accident.
town was entirely there at January 6th.
Jumanji is actually a movie
That's
about
true.
this is how they force people to take the Pfizer vaccine. They send the
Yeah,
giant
that's why
mosquitoes and just
they're shaking, and that's why the kid turns into a monkey too. That was the vaccine.
That was monkeypox.
Vaccine injury.
well, it's
That-
you know
that-
it's mRNA, monkey RNA, right?
Since Ali just saw this movie for the first time, when did you all see it, Jumanji, for the first time? Because I saw it for the first time in 5th grade because we had to do a Chris Van Allberg's project on a book. I did Polar Express, lucky me, but like we had to read all the books, and so my English teacher was like, "Oh, you know, Polar Express was out in theaters," but they're like, she was like, "Oh, did you guys know that there's also this film called Jumanji?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd heard about it, but I didn't know that like watch it."
Okay,
And
now there's a terrifying film, Polar Express. Fuck that
Oh,
movie.
God.
I hate that movie. It's terrifying. Fuck that movie.
Uncanny Valley.
Sorry. I
It's okay.
passionately hate
No,
that
I
movie.
agree. But like,
Well,
it's
that's the train that Tom Hanks takes the kids that he traffics,
I
right?
had to do a
Yes.
dance, a tap dance to Hot Chocolate every year growing up.
oh,
I still remember it.
We got it.
Every year.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
think
saw
I
it in
was
5th
7
grade.
or 8 when I saw it. Like I was really fucking young when I saw this movie. So like I was terrified by the line and I was terrified by the mosquitoes, but it's because I was like a very small child and it was sold as a kids movie and it was like PG and my parents were like, "Oh, this will be great." And then I just remember like being like, "Oh no, like this is fucking terrifying and I don't want to like is a lion going to fucking run out of the, you know, the other room if I play this fucking board game?" At one point my parents got the Jumanji board game.
That's something my dad would have done to freak me out.
Yeah, I do stuff like that with my kids.
I'll do that for my future kids.
You're still young.
Well,
I
now
think it's a
there's
cool
the,
concept. The only thing I don't like, the only thing that's weird about it as a game, you just roll dice. That's it. It's not even like Shoots and Ladders is more complicated. There ain't nothing to it. You just roll the dice. All right. Roll the dice and read off what's going to be flying at you in like 3 seconds. So it's sort of like, wow, you didn't put a lot of thought into the game part of this cursed game, huh?
Well, it came out in the 1800s, man. Like they didn't really know about gameplay back then.
they said they saw a woman's calf and they were like, I have to get married right now.
Yo, 1800s fucking, you know, like their version of Comic-Con, like board game con. So boring. They just had dice and they were just rolling it, and everyone was like, everyone came dressed as the dice. There was really nothing else you could be.
Yeah,
Very limited in options.
Not even the Monopoly Man yet.
Rayyvana,
That was
when did you
future
first see
stuff.
it?
I first saw Jumanji when I was like 4 or 5, and it was my favorite movie. It was my favorite movie in the world growing up. I watched it all the time with my brother, but it was terrifying. It scared the crap out of me for
Thank
sure.
you.
But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I'm not someone who usually likes things that scare me, even in the slightest bit. Like honestly, even as an adult, Hocus Pocus still a little too scary for me.
What?
Great movie.
So
Still
guys,
scares me.
here's what you guys need to know about Rayyvana. She does not like horror in any way, shape, or form.
How do we
Which
get
is
you on
why-
that Nightmare on Elm Street?
Which
I
is
am
why
not-
the first movie that we
That's
brought her
okay.
on for was Nightmare on Elm Street.
And I was horrified watching
Oh,
it.
that's
I-
a great one. I love the classic horrors. That's my
We're
shit.
trying to get
I love
I
classic
gotta
horror.
contact Robert England again, see if he got my email because we're trying to get him on. To do
That would
like
be
a little-
great.
A little career episode,
Yo,
perhaps.
that's just being black in America. You know what I mean? Like, some
Stevie,
rich ass white kid.
Wait, I was gonna say that. I watched in my Discord, like with some people, and I sent chat. I was like, that's gotta be racist. Like that first thing where they like just blamed the black man for what happened. I'm just like, what? That's
Oh,
gotta be racist.
And that's why he becomes a cop in an all white town.
That's crazy.
I mean, look at the times. Like,
That's crazy.
You know, I mean,
But
it's not-
speaking of CGI not aging, so did this character.
I mean, my family's from New Hampshire, so I gotta say, like, you know, there was like one black family living up there in the '60s, so you know that's accurate.
Oh yeah, we have that New England.
Everyone knows him by name.
representation.
Yeah.
Yes.
They said New England. I was like, yes, my people.
New England mentioned.
Finally.
Discount Seth Rogen said, "Is this like a generational thing? The younger you are, the less sensitive to horror you are." Apparently not, because I am
No.
25
I
and
grew up with horror.
I hate horror
I
movies.
think it just depends on like your parents mostly.
Yes,
'Cause
my
my dad.
grandfather.
Look,
My
look,
dad
I
wasn't
saw
from
RoboCop
action.
and like the uncut
that
version
horror?
with like extra blood. It is so violent, and I saw it when I was like 8, and I was
I
like,
haven't
there's like
seen
dudes getting
RoboCop.
shot in the face and
Yeah,
like
and the
RoboCop's
balls.
great.
It's
It's
got
an amazing
gratuitous
movie.
violence.
There is. I was attempting to get that out. Yeah, maybe eventually I will. But like, yeah, like it's so violent. It's so violent. And my dad didn't think it was a big. Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, I think he just wanted to see it.
Well,
That's what it comes
they
down
made rated
to.
R movies for
Like,
kids.
yeah, I
back
don't know.
then. I mean,
I
no,
know,
like
it's
back in
kinda
the
weird.
'80s, they made rated R movies for kids. So like,
Yeah.
there'd be like violence and nudity, but whatever.
Poltergeist,
It's like,
for instance.
you can also get toys.
I was terrified by how terrible it was.
But that's the most terrifying Leprechaun movie is Leprechaun in the Hood.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
That is real. It sounds like something we come up with on this
Literally
show, but that is a real movie.
That's gonna.
I
be
remember
my
it was
rap
always
name.
rented at the video store in college, and we could never get it. I was mad about that, but
What a shame.
it's a very popular film.
Yeah.
He fucking smokes a bong with all of them in one fucking scene or something. Like,
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh my god, that's
Alright,
lit.
And that's Warwick Davis too. That's the best part about the whole thing. That's the
Of
Wicked
Willow
W. Ward
fame.
from Return of the Jedi and Willow. and-
Listen, I think that's why I actually ended up really enjoying Jumanji, because if there's anything I love, it's
What
just
movie?
enjoyably corny, like just like eccentric stuff. I love that shit. I don't care if it's critically acclaimed good. If it's like out there and entertaining, that's my shit.
Yes.
I like how quickly it just gets down to it. Like it doesn't spend a lot of time
Exactly.
building it up. They're deep in it. The house is getting jacked up, like 9 ways till Tuesday. And like, okay, does the CGI hold up? No, as we firmly established, it does not.
Well, I
but
was
like,
confused
but it
for,
puts you
like-
right in the action immediately, and that's
It
what a good
does.
adventure movie should.
Well, like
And
at
Joe
first,
Johnson.
I was confused during the intro. I'm like, "What the fuck is this time jump?" But then I was
Am I
only left
watching the right
confused
movie?
for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, okay."
And like he finds it in like that construction site, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Let's let this kid dig around his construction site." Yeah. What?
But
Yeah.
it's pretty funny that the last movie we watched is Jurassic Park because Industrial Light and Magic, who did like a lot of the dinosaur design.
Good
in,
CGI.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
which they-
so-
and also
the-
opened with kids digging around and
but yeah. Well, so the same, Industrial Light and Magic also did this, and
They
so there's a
did
bunch of
the dinosaur poop scene.
they did just all the dinosaurs and
No, they outsourced that. Yeah, they did that too. That was they,
yeah, they just sat
They
there
got a poop
for-
guy.
Yeah, they
Easily one
kept
of the
giving
best
him
teams
like
of all time.
It was a
they
method
kept giving
actor.
coffee. He's had a high chair
Like,
and a
is-
lot of coffee.
They just
That's all he does. He's very good at his job.
They just
Just
they
don't
just
ask
they
him what
brought,
it
the
is.
same company.
they
Like,
brought
it's like,
Newman back in.
What?
Was it
Like
the
watching it,
budget?
I'm like, wait. So the same people did Jurassic Park also did Jumanji. You mean to tell me I mean, I know they based it off of like the book, but they could have done a better job.
All right, so this is the clip that I have like a few of these for different parts of the
Like I remember seeing the
I
monkeys and being like, this looks goofy AF when I saw it.
And that's great.
Yeah,
I
and I
love
wasn't mad.
Corny
I
CGI.
still liked it in spite of that, but I was like, all right, now come on. I mean, because this is when Terminator 2's come out, you know, like Jurassic Park,
the monkeys look like N64, like you know
That's
what I mean, like
awesome.
the original Mario Kart fucking characters.
Yeah.
But
I
for
love
the,
that
show
really
art,
bad
I was-
things.
For the
This
short,
is
I was
the,
trying to capture the effects of the bad monkeys.
Is that what you're doing?
This is-
Yeah, okay.
I was
this is
trying. I don't know if I was
Industrial Light and Magic.
successful. Y'all are gonna have to
This is
tell me.
Industrial Light and Magic talking about how like it was harder apparently to do the CGI for this movie than it was for Jurassic Park, and I just wanted to get that line out there.
Really?
Just look at that one
Really?
frame. That's beautiful. Like Minecraft ass graphics. It's a beautiful thing.
The creative minds at Industrial Light and Magic specialize in letting their imaginations run wild. They turn back time to bring dinosaurs to life in Jurassic Park, but the computer-generated images required for Jumanji were far more complex.
It's so complicated and dense, you can't really see very much unless you zoom in.
Funnest part of the project, always throwing stuff back and forth and talking about design, and then getting down to, okay, let's storyboard this stuff out and see what we really have. And when we put it all down, we came back here and looked at it and we said, wow, all these different sequences. It was pretty daunting from the start.
As strange as it is, it's still so much fun because in each scene, there's some effect.
Well, it's like the old, if you want to make it like the old movies. How many Kimasabi? Many buffalo, come.
When you read the story, you immediately realize there is a gigantic and awesome production challenge in this film, which is you have to create a stampede inside a house.
With dinosaurs, we had a little leeway because people didn't know how they moved and didn't know what they really looked like. But people can go to the zoo, so, you know, it makes your job that much harder.
Run, you fools!
There's a full animal stampede. That was an open call that day, so we had elephants, rhinos, zebras, a couple of wombats. Which were late. They had a 5 o'clock call, but they came at 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, Africa on Ice is proud to present.
Couple 2-tree wombats.
Africa. You know, it's always when you're doing those things where something could go wrong that you have to be careful.
You're great.
I'm fast. I can't believe we did that much.
Go again.
We shoot the side with Robin running out of the library, and then the effects guys actually built a big steel rhino and rammed it through that wall for us.
When you see the blue horn, that means it's right. Sounds good, Mark.
Oh, action! And that was the rhino's last shot.
We take those 2 shots, and we end up compositing Robin in the shot and keep him right in there in the middle of the action.
Wow. There haven't been that many effects where you have to hallucinate it or actually imagine it. There's just a few. You find yourself going, how was work? I don't know.
Come back and huddle here and say, okay,
Like every movie
that's
now.
our big problem here. We need to have the lion guy solving the long hair problem and how that mane's going to move cleaner and less messed up.
We had to solve a lot of technical problems with the hair, like trying to make our hair match the animatronic lion. It's about 1.5 million hairs or something like that. So there has to, all those things have to work together, and that was a big
It's like a retarded
technical
looking
problem.
lion, a little bit.
The way animatronics develop is just like us. They're scrambling from the start. We don't really know what this lion looks like until they finally get to their first day of shooting and get there.
Well, this is our beauty shot of the lion. There are about 7 or 8 shots where he appears in the movie, but he doesn't ever appear for as long or close up as this shot.
It looks like Toe Jam and Earl from the Sega Genesis. But yeah, you know, whatever.
Kudos to Robin Williams
There's
for
like-
really doing.
there's
Oh,
like-
I love Robin Williams so much.
There's like
He's so
subreddit
good.
of mentally challenged like lions, and they all kind of look
Really?
like lion in this.
It's amazing how like all they had like all the different steps that were needed to just make these very, very terrible CGI effects.
It's so much work.
Yeah.
I'll say I was giving the CGI a lot of shit, but they were literally making it on a toaster. So,
Yes.
I can't.
I got my
hate that
Commodore
much.
64 over here. That's the top of the line.
They did what they could do.
Typing numbers into a microwave and hoping a lion comes out.
Marvel does now with their
we need more power.
That's facts.
Let's plug in the fucking waffle iron into that. Try to see where you get like a little bit more.
I feel like it doesn't really distract too much from the movie. I feel like that makes the movie what it is, though. I just love a good cheesy moment.
It's an artifact of its time, but I think it still carries over, and it carries over, and part of it, and I think this is something that's missing a lot with a lot of actual modern CGI heavy movies, is that the weightlessness of some of the CGI just doesn't give it any import or impact. And here I feel like they because it was so new, they were still treading carefully. And like, again, they're mixing parts, animatronics and stuff. It feels like there's weight to all these goofy ass looking things that are jumping into the house.
Obviously, a lot of care was put into it.
Unlike the animals in the movie.
Yeah.
In the movie, they were treading carefully.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you have to use your imagination when you're making a film. When I did some ADR work for a film, I dropped acid before I did that, so I could see the movie while I was speaking my lines. It was great.
There you go. Another classic Andy World Bon Mott. And that movie was Jumanji. No, it wasn't.
Actually, it kind of explains a lot that maybe parts of Andy's brain have just been irreplaceably changed by that ADR experience.
Yes.
But yeah, like, so I think it works well when there's like for this era, they were doing a thing they did in Jurassic Park too. It was they had practical effects and CGI, and I think that, like, I almost wish people did that more now, because the reliance on total CGI, it's somehow it is this, as much as they try to look like there's an impact, it just looks like a cutscene in a video game to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Even when it's like, oh, it looks so good, except for it looks terrible, and I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe any part of it.
Ass graphics.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm all for Marvel hate. I am a hater.
I'm not allowed to be a hater anymore.
I like Marvel, but I'm like,
I don't know. Everyone turns on me and starts calling me Chapo Trap House or something.
I also hate Marvel movies, so.
All right, great. Well, go find a show and go talk about that. Let's talk about
Jumanji. Callback. You're afraid of being a hater.
Christ.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's not a daring opinion. Plenty of people dislike them, and I hear about it constantly. I don't care at all. And it's a boring
I actually
thing to
do
talk
not
about.
hate everything they've done. I just am annoyed.
Great, still talking about it. Okay.
How about that Jumanji? Jumanji's pretty fun, right?
Have you seen Ali? Have you seen the recent Jumanji movies? The ones with
no, I
and
haven't.
stuff?
Because I'm a huge Jack Black stan, and I don't want to ruin that for me.
They're good. They're
good.
They're
Oh,
good,
yeah.
but
Okay,
they hit so differently, and they're meant to be
Oh.
funny, right? So that's a big difference, because I feel like they
I
felt that they
saw
were. Okay.
a movie that was really similar.
They crank out like 2 of these a year, and they're all universally terrible. But the Jumanji, like Welcome to Jungle and like The Next Level, right? First of all, canonically, they are sequels, which I think is interesting. But they do something very different with it. And if you're looking for the style of movie that it is, right, which is not, look, Criterion Collection, it's not. Let's put it that way, right? But it does what it does very well, and it's I came around. I was like, why did they remake this? They don't need, because I just assumed it was a remake because everything's a freaking remake. I'm like, I don't want to see this. And then I was like, you know what? That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hollywood, no more remakes. We're tired of remakes.
What was not very good was Zathura. I watched that movie as a kid also, and even then I was like, this sucks.
Not great, people. Not great. Yeah, the spiritual sequel to
Thurza. Is that like the Thursday version? Thirsty Thurza.
It's like the Jumanga. Anyway, whatever. That's earlier.
Jumanga is the Mexican remake of
exactly.
Is that real?
Of Jumanji.
No.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You can tell me anything I believe.
No, you got me out of the game, man. Thanks.
Well, but yeah, it's so wild that, like, I've never seen, like, a lot of, when the ones that have the rock in them, when they came out, people were so angry about it. And then I was like, well, hold the phone though. Like, I like the original Jumanji, but let's be clear, man. Like, you know, it's not The Godfather. Like, it's a good movie, but like,
I can't
Do
believe
not-
they made.
fair.
I can't believe they made
Yeah.
Jumanji political.
yeah. But like, it does. I will say this about these Jumanji movies: it does a better job of showing why role-playing games and things like Dungeons and Dragons are interesting for personal character development than any of those movies that are actually called Dungeons and Dragons, which I refuse to watch. Andy probably has seen all of them, but
There's D&D
Yeah, he's just
movies?
nodding.
they're not great. They're not good. Like,
I
I mean,
didn't even
and
know
like
they
People
existed.
playing Dungeons and
well,
Dragons.
exactly, because people
Yeah,
redact them
I
from
don't
their
remember
memory.
anything about it, and I've seen that one with Ben Kingsley like 7 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it's like a Japanese horror
Hey,
movie. You forget
Sir
its
Ben
existence the
Kingsley
second
to
you
you.
see it.
Yeah.
But these
Or
recent
Doctor Who
Jumanji
villain.
movies do a better job of showing that than those movies do, and I think that's worthwhile as well. But we'll also keep in the canon.
Speaking of Jumanji, let's talk about the cast because it's a pretty decent. Like,
Yes!
it's an amazing
I'd love
cast.
to talk about the
look at
cast.
like Robin Williams, Kirsten Dunst, David Alan Grier, Bonnie Hunt, Jonathan Hyde, BB Newirth, Patricia Clarkson, and a very young Laura Bell Bundy before she played Elle Wood in the Legally Blonde musical.
Do you guys want
Whoa.
to see?
That's a deep cut. I didn't expect that one. All
you
right.
guys want to see 3 minutes of pure uncut Robin Williams?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god. God, sometimes I'm like,
I'm willing
you
to
know, I'm
freebase
healing
Robin
from my
Williams right now.
daddy issues, and then I hear Robin Williams talk.
All right,
Also,
so
just real
this-
quick, Kirsten Dunst has looked exactly the same since she was born, apparently.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
what
stand
happens when
her.
you're
I
not
love
problematic.
her.
She's great. I was like, wow, how is it she looks exactly the same now? She's like 12.
Yo,
or
I
15, those
I
kids.
realized in
Crazy.
this that Kirsten Dunst obviously broke out with Interview with a Vampire,
yeah.
and then
Good
so
film.
did Brad Pitt, and we talked about that when we talked about 12 Monkeys, and then
Right. And he does
both-
12 Monkeys, right?
yeah, the
and then
same
and she
year,
does
simultaneously.
Jumanji. That's so funny.
Yeah, so there's
Big
a 3
swings.
minutes of uncut. So every time Robin Williams did the right way that he'd do this is he'd stick to the script. If they let him do another like an improv bit where he just like goes off every single time, so he made every take he had to do another take that was just him like being Robin Williams. So they have
Sounds like him and Aladdin.
91 Mary take 2, Mark.
Is this the movie you crave? Put the word up in my front.
I'd like to say hi to all the folks at
It's like
Sony
a
and
funny Jim
Worship
Brewer.
me.
Wow.
where are the chicks?
Yes. Oh, it's been so long since I've had food this bad for you. This is refined sugar. Thank you. Boy.
You're not gonna help us. What are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know, really. Let's see, I have a 6th grade education and not much other possibilities. Maybe I'll go into show business. I don't know. Anything I want, really. I'm going to watch TV till my eyes bug out. Is Joaquin Bullwinkle still on? Top Cat? No? Oh, that's sad.
Hey, it's okay to be afraid.
You think ain't me afraid?
I'm Alan Schuyler Parrish. I'm not afraid of anything. You understand that? I'm a Parrish. My great-grandfather Angus led a cavalry charge uphill at Chickamauga. And my father personally survived 3 hostile takeovers. Parishes do not know the meaning of the word fear. Okay? Don't let go of him.
Alan!
Talk about flower pot. This is ridiculous. No, got my kingdom for a weed whacker. Do we still have that garden weasel?
I don't know. Help, Alan!
Okay, got him. Hold on to him. Hold on to him. We're going to do a little pruning.
It's okay, honey.
Garden weasel.
You all right? You know, once they bear fruit, they're normally not that aggressive. They're good eating. They taste just like asparagus.
Okay, Alan.
Yeah, I know. 2 million years of people eating artichokes. Now you know what it feels like. It's gone.
She's not breaking at all. I appreciate that. That's amazing.
Laura, wait till you see the fauna.
He's so annoyed.
Whoa, nothing like a full face of halibut breath.
Wow. Ooh, low tide breath. Oh, God. Like day old clams. Wow. I know what they call it, smelt. Oh, so you want a neck, huh?
I know why they call it.
I know the
smelt.
seagulls. They're friends. Ah, it's mine! Oh, wow! Almost got the eel. Not afraid of cats, are you? Okay. Toro. Look at the salmon. Look at the salmon. Look at the salmon. Look at the salmon. Your master's no good. Mine is better. Ready? Ah, so I play rough, huh? Whoa! Where's Peter?
Seven Samurai with Robin Williams.
God.
His hormones kicked in early, didn't they? Go pick up a razor on the way out, okay? Chaney Jr. Wolf boy.
Yeah.
Is it a full moon or is something happening to him? What isle is the Nair in? Someone dipped him in minoxidil. It's Roddy McDowell. Shh! People, please. When did he become Curious George?
Oh my god.
Oh man, that was amazing.
Oh
my, he really was
my
doing like
abs
a
hurt.
good.
Holy shit, that was
Yeah.
so fucking funny.
He was really
haven't
good
laughed
at
that hard
doing,
in a
like,
while.
funny Jim Brewer.
Oh my god.
I like the fucking Roddy McDowell one because the first thing that I also thought was Planet of the Apes. Like,
Yeah. Oh, he's
I
a
don't
big
know.
Planet of the Apes energy. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally.
Especially, it reminded me like Tim, like especially like the Tim Burton one too, like that awful, like out of box Tim Burton version,
Oh.
like, ugh,
Of
that
what?
makeup.
But
Yeah.
you know the ones, the Andy Serkis ones, those are good. And
Wait,
I
of
was like,
what?
I will not watch those because I hated the Tim Burton one so much. And like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, these
Wait,
are
what
good.
movies are you talking about?
Planet of
Planet
the
of the
Apes.
Apes.
Planet
Rise
They've
of
been
the
around
Planet of the
since like the
Apes
70s.
and War for the Planet of the Apes. The recent
My
one. And
dad
then-
loves them, but I never watch any of them. I don't care.
The recent ones
okay.
are pretty good.
I just
don't know
feel
how to
like-
respond to that. So
I just feel like I'm too late to hop on the train now. It's
Never,
mean,
never
it's
too
like
late.
Taylor
I don't know.
Swift.
If you like,
I'm
if you like
too
kind
late.
of, if you like corny effects stuff, like the original Planet of the Apes,
Okay,
really
maybe
can't
I'd
be
be a
beat for that
fan.
kind of stuff.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
convert me.
No.
Yeah, well, and
I
then
just
it's
haven't
legit
thought
good.
about watching them.
And the more recent ones, they're heavy on the CGI, but they actually tell a good story. And it's I was like, these are terrible. I know that they are terrible. I don't need to watch them because I know they're terrible, and they were not. I was wrong. It happens, people.
Oh.
The James
Maybe I
Franco
do have
one.
to watch them.
I
James
saw
Franco was
the-
in it.
Yeah.
There's a-
Okay,
there's a
I'll
He's the
James
main
watch
Franco
them.
one.
character.
I'll watch them.
Well, so that one
Pre-creep
that one-
outing, right?
That
Oh,
one
wait,
is
what?
bad.
I mean, James Franco was out as a creep when I saw him on Vice and Men. This was like back in
Oh, never
2014. We
mind.
just ignored it.
They should have of Mice and Men James Franco at that point.
No,
Lenny.
You gotta
They're
let
like,
Busy
it's
Philip
Seth-
do the
it's Seth
honor.
Rogen behind him,
Yes.
and he's like, look at the flowers, fucking Franco.
Can I bring us back to the board game for a second? Can I talk about the fact that like the reason why Kid's a monkey boy in the first place, he decided like it would be smarter if he cheated, and then like the game punished him arbitrarily by turning him into like a monkey or
That's
part
cool.
a monkey. Which like that's not even explored. People are like, oh yeah, of course it did. Like at that point, they're like so deep in it. Like what? No, can we just talk? Like how does he have power to like change him physically? Like like does it just do this arbitrarily? Does it have rules? I want to know. Like clearly the
Imagine
hunter.
Monopoly punishing you.
They didn't make anybody sign a contract, and I just feel like not signing a contract, it just leaves the game up for all kinds of liabilities.
I mean, I think it could be easily assumed after the game sucked the guy into the board. Like, it's not that big of a logical leap that if it had the ability to do that, of course it could turn this kid into a monkey.
I love the disinterest in explaining it though. It's like, no, we're not going to explain this. F you.
Well,
it's the 80s.
That's just the rules.
Okay,
You
nice.
What
should
they
have read
also
the rules.
don't explain is like
don't
what
break the
he
rules,
did
no
for
problem.
the 26 years he was in the game. He just popped out, had a beer, is like, "Where's my parents?" And then
Well, he
the rest of
explained
the
how
movie
he
has-
explained the banana leaves, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
but
when
it's
he-
just like little like things here and there where he talks about where, and he's not just like, so this is what happened all these years I was there. It's just like little like
You see
here
the
and
place
there.
he built in the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle movie, or is it the
Oh, okay.
third one? Anyway, but like like you don't see him obviously, he's
Welcome
not
to the
around anymore.
jungle.
But you see like he's like carved his initials and stuff like it. But again, that's almost retconning because again, the movie is not interested in explaining that in any way, shape, or form. It's just
It
like
doesn't need to normalize not explaining things. Just let
there.
things be as they are. I think I'm
someone
down.
is a big fan of that. It's that guy right there.
Yes, thank you, Christina.
I
Shared
think
brain.
normalize that.
Yes,
I think
Right.
that like the more
Back on
time
my good
goes on,
side.
the more time goes on, the more like we get spoon fed things because people have the internet now and they can go on the internet and bitch and
Hate
be
that
like,
shit.
what about this? Now screenwriters like, well, now we got to explain it or else someone on Reddit is gonna,
Plot
put
holes
all
are
in the story.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank
like
you,
It's
yeah.
like when people like went shit like over "Don't Worry, Darling" because everyone's like, "What's the ending about? What is this movie about? I don't know." And I'm like,
We need more David Lynch style interviews. Would you like to explain that further? No.
Perfect.
No, I wouldn't say that further. No.
Now let me talk
Now,
about the
I'm gonna put these
weather.
panties in my mouth.
Exactly. Yes.
So good.
Nah, I'm a fan, and that is like fallen out of favor. And like what I like so far, because Ali, we did it's all adventure movies this month. So we did we did Raiders of the Lost Ark, we did Sorcerer, it's all like movies like that's the theme.
God, how many classics have I missed? I feel like I've only seen random ass movies and none of these like classics. I
Have you
haven't
ever
even
seen Indiana Jones?
Nope.
It's the first Indiana Jones movie, and it's the best one.
It's
Yeah,
good,
by
but
far.
those movies do not hold up.
I've seen
First
I
one
grew up
holds up.
watching like horror movies and then like
I'm glad Short Round's
weird
getting
like
this, too.
80s and 90s comedies.
well, now we know to bring Allie on for like when we do like our like Halloween theme month.
If
then.
you do,
Yeah, keep
like,
me out of that.
If you do
We
an
did-
SNL movie theme month, you can bring me
Lose
on
my
for
number
that.
for that one.
And next time you're thinking
theme
about
month, is it
watching a
just-
horror
is it
film,
just,
I don't exist.
Night at the Roxbury. We can just.
Well, we
Or
did a month that
camp,
was
do a camp month. Wait, can you bring me on
All right, I'm
when-
out.
if you do Halloween? Sorry.
No, we did a month called Murder Night Extravaganza where we went through basically all the slasher films. And now we're starting at Psycho.
If you
And we
do
had
Rocky
another
Horror, my
co-host that
DMs are
at the end
open.
of the month
Ooh,
we
Rocky Horror.
had to select a co-host out of a hat and we murdered that co-host. But based on a murder from the one movie. Nobody ever mentions that, but you know what? We did it collectively. That was our first bonding experience.
It really
That's
was.
awesome.
I suggested that this year
It's like a
for
John
October, it would be like Killer Kids. Oh my god, guys, we could do Megan this year.
Wow.
Okay, but Jumanji.
Dare to dream, but yeah, thank you, Ray, because that's what I was gonna say. I was like, cool. Like we're doing the after party just in the shows now, I guess, but like, and that's fine. Yeah, uninterested in explanation. Like, he cheats, he gets turned into a monkey. Look, fuck around, found out, right?
Yes,
exactly.
And it's
Now
a kids
imagine-
movie, so
Period.
you
Now
really
imagine
don't.
if that was
For kids
imagine if
movies, you
that
don't
was the
have
thing.
to. Kids aren't thinking about that, right?
That's
They're
right.
like,
It's like,
"Oh
yeah.
shit, sucked into the game, and now he's back, and they gotta play it."
Uh-oh.
Imagine if everybody that cheated on their spouse or something got turned into a monkey. Now, people wouldn't be doing that anymore.
going into the divorce proceedings.
Walking up
Be
in,
like,
in
Your
your monkey
Honor,
suit.
this bitch is a monkey. Okay, you know what happened here. Case
Sorry,
closed.
swinging into the courtroom. Am I right?
Where divorce court.
I think you look a little something like this. Ooh.
It'd be like,
Order
Your
in
Honor,
court.
Your Honor, there's evidence. Look, there's a banana peel on the floor of the courtroom.
Throw shit at you.
By the way, our Robin
Correct,
Williams
yeah.
bit has lower energy, I think, than the actual Robin Williams
I
because
agree.
his
I thought we
energy-
were doing it too much. Like, no, we did not. No, we weren't even.
Whoa.
close.
Robin Williams, like he can do whatever he wants. He could be as wild card as he can be. And
That's
we love
why
it.
I
We
love
him
that
for it.
man, because I'm a big fan of like my favorite actors are the ones that do like everything. Like Robin Williams is one of those people that has done
Yeah.
some of my favorite like serious movies.
Yep.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
but it's also because he has such a fatherly energy, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had that in my life. And like, he's just so. That was supposed to be funny. Sorry. I do
It's
have
funny
a
'cause it's
dad. It's
sad.
just he doesn't support me that much, but it's fine. But like
Oh
I
god,
don't
no.
know,
Flavor
just
Flav.
like
Flavor Flav in
he's
the
always
house.
like a mentor type of character, but then he's also like funny. But like, I feel like even the funny movies,
Except for
even
like
have, like, a tone of,
Insomnia,
like-
he's not at
Yeah.
all. 1 hour photo, he's not at all. But
Oh,
those
I
are
haven't
against
seen
type.
that.
Well, they're both
Oh.
great, but he's not that type of dude at all.
I love
Yeah,
Awakenings, though. That's my favorite.
But
Robin
I know what you're saying. And like,
because even
I-
Jumanji, he's a bit of a mentor to the kids. Like
he starts off being kind of like just like selfish kid growing up, but then like he almost becomes more of a parental figure by you know
Mhm.
kind of realizing it is actually very surreptitiously like
It's
emotionally
wholesome.
gainful. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it doesn't feel like tacked on in a way that like a Disney movie or like Coda would or something.
Yeah, because when the kid turns into the monkey, he like comforts him. And
Yeah, he
he's
doesn't
like,
call him
"It's
Roddy
okay."
McDowell. He doesn't do any of those hilarious things we just
Oh.
looked at. You know,
Roddy McDowell.
He's
look,
like, "It'll
look at
be
you.
okay."
Look at Wolfman. Ooh.
Yeah. That whole bit about the tail, like remember, he's like, it's okay. You don't have to be, you know, you don't have to cry.
Well,
Everything's gonna be fine.
You don't
And
have
he's
to
like,
cry.
no.
We all have tails.
And then,
Some of us are
then you
pretty
see
hairy
the
too.
pants rip and the tail coming out.
Yeah,
It was,
and that's
you know.
hilarious, but it's also like, oh, that probably was like a bummer for the kid. You know, like it's got a freaking tail. It's the
I
pants aren't
felt him
designed for it.
there.
Yeah,
I
for
felt
real.
him.
I'll say the first movie I remember ever seeing in my life was Mrs. Doubtfire. So I've always had a soft
which
spot
is
for
woke.
Robin Williams.
Which is woke, and we
Yeah,
gotta cancel
it's
it.
a trans
Bro,
woman.
that menopause joke always gets me. Is
He's
it
like,
hot
yo,
here? Or is
you
it
know,
just
back
me?
in the day, men only dressed as women when they wanted to see their kids and their ex-wife.
Yeah.
Nowadays we got, you know,
Or
men-
bosom
men-
buddies get cheap rent controlled
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Starring Tom Hanks. Everybody, one of
Oh,
Tom Hanks'
God.
first role.
And I mean, you
And
know,
Peter Scolari.
male stowaways.
Peter Scolari
like,
too, but Peter Scolari, that's about the
Yeah.
the nature
male
of the
stowaways,
Yeah.
like some like it
Wait,
hot,
so-
you know.
So
Like,
Tom Hanks was considered for Robin Williams' role.
That would be very different.
Yes.
Yeah. It
Bro,
wouldn't
that
have been
movie
as
would
good.
be so fucking boring.
It would be. I mean, he brings his own chaoticness to like a role if it requires it. But I just feel like Robert Williams was the best fit.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that
like
was-
1995 Tom Hanks.
Yes.
I feel
I guess
like it's
true.
you can
Post
sort of
Forrest Gump.
understand it more.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. 1985
don't.
Tom Hanks would have been amazing.
Yes.
well, they wanted
Yeah.
someone that was going to stick to the script, and they
Well,
were
so they
kind
picked
of
Robin
like,
Williams.
you know,
Look, I read that
He's
script.
just
They know
too,
great
like-
chicks.
Even though Tom Hanks can be a silly, goofy guy, he's not like eccentric like that. Because when I think of like his funnier moments, he's like still
Woody.
kind of like it's like an
Still in
internal
control.
kind of funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
Castaway.
controlled
That's why
funny.
Castaway works so well because,
Yes.
like, you know,
Well said.
yeah, like it's
I was
hilarious.
thinking
but
more
you're like, oh,
Forrest
that's messed
Gump
up.
because Forrest Gump is obviously a very chaotic character, but it's like very controlled chaos.
One of the-
I've been trapped in that jungle for 26 years.
Yeah, that's like it would be so boring.
My
I think it
mama
would be
always
boring.
said, you know, jungle is as jungle does. Like, get out of here.
That
Can
life
we-
is like a roll on Jumanji. You never know what you're gonna get.
Can we give a shout out for David Allen Greer in this film, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Because he is.
Wait, what
I
else is-
remembered him being very funny. He's the cop. He's the cop. Well,
No,
he's the
but
guy,
I'm trying to think of what else he's been in.
like in Living Color was like the big.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that show.
Yeah.
He is so funny in this, but not in a way that where he's just like feels like a clown. Like I love the fact that
Yeah.
early on it's established like he's got this car, he's super proud of it, it's brand new, he's stoked about how brand new it is, and it just gradually gets decimated by like every like natural disaster, creature, insect, etc., and it, like you just watch him kind of like go down what could be like the rabid edge of insanity in a lot of ways. But what he actually does with it as a character is like he actually becomes more empathetic and he becomes more helpful as time goes on, and then gradually sort of lets go of like this, you know, the materialist entry. And it's amazing because it's all very funny. Like it's gold every time he's on screen.
Have you guys seen like the Carmichael show, or that he's in as like the? You've never seen that was like for a couple seasons it was on. It was like Gerard Carmichael, and he's like it was in like the height of the Trump era, and he's in that. And he's the dad, and he turns into like a MAGA guy, like he has like the "Make America Great
right.
Again" hat and everything. And I picture that's where the cop Bentley like character ended up. He's just like, he's like, I don't know, I met Trump, and now I'm this MAGA guy.
That completely
I'm
undercuts
anyway.
literally everything I said, but okay, sure, yeah. But I mean, I think his arc, because again, think about the fact that like he designed like designer sneakers like whatever 30 years before they came out, which okay, sure, whatever, dude. But like you know, like somehow it wasn't just like completely destroyed by the experience. He like decided that, you know, granted becoming a cop isn't necessarily something I would call a laudable goal, but he does seem to be quote unquote one of the good ones. And that's worth noting, right? You know, that's he seems to keep his humanity.
Saying that a black guy is one of the good ones.
I was thinking cops, but yeah, I get it.
Well, I support there being.
He's also a fictional character. Yeah, thank you, Ellie.
I support the only black guy in a town getting to be the cop of the town.
Anytime
I was gonna bring it up until I got called out for being vaguely racist, but yeah.
Anytime a conversation revolves around is this cop in this like movie with this completely made up plot like included in a cab, I'm just like, come on, like this is not real. Obviously a character in a movie is not like gonna be influenced by like whatever.
I thought this was a documentary. This isn't a documentary.
Yeah.
However, I think we can.
Of course, they wrote him as a good cop. It was fake. it's the writing.
Yeah. But we can all agree though that the bad CG monkeys are part of ACAB.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely are. Yeah.
So I think they have their ACAB moment because they destroy the car. They destroy the cop car. And they're like, fuck the police, and then drive away.
Or was it a hate crime?
They also just fire off the gun.
NWA playing when that scene happens.
They start out as cops, and then they kind of start a riot. And
this is an important discussion. I'm glad we're having it.
They start looting from the store, which, you know, it's the 90s, so there's all kinds of dog whistle implications.
Of the 90s, even though this film, like, as you know,
what year is it?
Exactly. Yeah, what year is it?
What year is it? Oh, is it 1965?
Is it future or is it past? Robin Williams in Twin Peaks.
Even though this film wasn't received well, it's considered a classic. It's like, you know, time has, you know, passed and
it's remembered well. Yeah.
Yes.
Remembered well.
And even Chris Van Allsburg's like, it's actually a pretty faithful adaptation to the book.
Yeah. Well, he like wrote the first draft. Yeah. So of course he says that.
I think this movie
I love what I did when I wrote this screenplay. Yeah.
I think this movie deserves the Evil Dead treatment, where it's just like beloved for like all of its corny, wacky factors. Okay. Like that type of thing. Like years later, it's like still beloved by like a group of people who just like have a respect for it. For the vision.
And I think that does happen. And I was trying to think like why this hits differently than something like Hook, right? Because like, are you familiar, Ali? Are you familiar with Hook? You know this film? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can understand why Hook doesn't hit like Jumanji did, because I think Hook was already like Peter Pan stuff has already been done.
Yeah, everyone knows Peter
and it was
Pan.
just everyone knew Peter Pan. So this was just like a bad adaptation of it. It was just bad. Jumanji was something kind of new in terms of like the film realm, so I feel like that's probably why it hit a little better.
As much as
and better concept.
I diss the board game concept of literally just rolling dice and reading something off. Like the cursed board game may have existed in horror movies, but it's like, you know, adventure-based family entertainment, which is ostensibly what this is supposed to be. No, it's an awesome concept, and you don't need to like read a whole novella of information to get into it. It's right there.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel cursed in the way that, like, I don't know, like a lot of times like when something's cursed is like a parable. This doesn't really feel like a parable.
Oh, this is cursed because somebody did a thing and then this game was made. Whatever.
This just feels like, I mean, it feels like it's just kind of wacky. Like, oh, they found a fucking crazy board game. Like, nobody draws a lesson out of it really at the end. They're just like, well, let's make sure these kids' parents don't get fucking capped.
Not everything has to be a learning moment.
And I love, thank you. Yes. And I love how Bonnie Hunt's character fucking bails. She's just like, yo, I'm gone. Like these, like I'm getting swarmed by bats. I am out of here.
Yo,
she ends up to be pregnant. That's crazy.
But she ends
up
like
blew me away.
In the first timeline, like that is a natural reaction for a kid. You know, you're not gonna be like, oh, I have to go back and complete the game. Like, what? No, I'm not gonna do that. Like, he could be dead for all I know. I didn't know what happened. Yeah.
I mean, if I had a nickel for every date that ended like that.
Snapped.
Oh, by the way, when we do the Goonies, my name is definitely gonna be Thanos.
We're doing Goonies on Friday.
You
not
are?
with Francesca, unfortunately, but yeah.
You want to come on for Goonies?
Want on for that?
Perhaps I'll have to rewatch it, but that's a movie I watched with my dad growing up.
I love it. I hope there's not like something vaguely racist in it or something that I forgot about. But
I think
been a long
also too, we're gonna
time.
have a
Oh,
we're gonna
no.
have a future Oscar winner.
But
that's
key,
in that
yeah,
film.
exactly. It's gonna, it's relevant once again. Yeah, 'cause-
So since do you want to kind of?
Oh, can we like? I feel like we talked. Look, I didn't want to be like, "Hey guys, all cops are bastards." Yes or no? Are the monkeys cops? Whatever, monkeys are cops. Fine. At least in this movie, they are, or they're anarchists. Who the fuck knows?
The monkeys literally do not exist. They are a figment of a toaster.
Again, I didn't think it was a documentary, but a quick study. David Alan Grier is awesome in this, and like I feel like this is a unique role for him because like he's usually goes one or the other. It's more like kind of extreme farce. Right, or more like kind of a dramatic stuff. This is kind of like right down the middle. I think it works perfectly, and it's a great foil for what Robin Williams is doing too.
Yeah, he was a great pick, and it was a great contrast to like the other characters in the movie.
And I like that he starts out as kind of just a company man. You know what I mean? Like he knows he has to take the hit for the son of the company. Like he can't just snitch on him. Like, and so he just fucking loses his job over that. The other character I wanted to bring up before I think we should probably keep this to an hour and a half so we can talk about the Oscar stuff. But the other character I want to talk about was Van Pelt, the explorer. That's like the spiritual manifestation of his
AKA future NRA chairman. Van Pelt.
Yeah, right.
I like didn't. That was my least favorite part of the movie. That guy. I didn't see a point to him. I thought it was kind of stupid. I mean, like the gun scene where he just drops the coins and they're like, you can have the gun now. That was pretty funny, but
yeah, it's like a documentary.
That definitely aged well. That's a documentary.
What's the gun show
That's
loophole?
fact.
He bought it with the gun show loophole.
Jonathan Hyde will always be Bruce Esme to me in the Titanic. That piece of shit who managed to sneak out on one of the boats near the end. Couldn't even look
But you didn't
when the
notice.
Titanic was sinking. He didn't belong. Women and children first. You piece of shit.
And me. That's what I always say.
In that movie.
Women and children first, and I am a child.
Yes.
I might not look like it, but I am. Let me on the fucking. I could have fit on that door.
All right, so I love that scene. The scene that Allie's. Oh, kitty.
This is the lion from the movie.
I know. I didn't want to say anything.
Fearless
I didn't want to call
predator.
out a,
Fearless
famous person.
predator.
Look at that baby girl.
I love that scene because like dude runs out of bullets and just like goes to, first of all knows to go to the gun store, great, and then like it's like, and then just like, hey, give me what, like I need another weapon, and then like gives him
Didn't he
gold,
get
and
a
like the guy's like,
sniper?
sir, yes sir, yeah, give him like an AK, like I don't know, it's like some sort of like automatic.
I'd like to know how he is buying
silencer.
ammunition in Jumanji. Like when he is actually in
He probably makes
the
himself.
jungle. Where is he getting his
He
ammunition?
just runs around and there's an automatic reload thing. You know what I mean? There's like
well, in the. All right, Andy.
I think
go
that's
ahead.
another thing they don't need to
I
explain.
got a thing. I got a thing. Hold on.
Okay.
In these sequel movies, they have materials like drop down from the sky like a video game because the board game
Loot drop
is it is, and because the board game it gets found like at the end of it, the board game is like it's like buried in the sand of the ocean, right? You hear the drums going, right? Well, they find it. And then they like aren't interested in it because the kids are into video games now. So it turns itself into a video game, and that's what happens. But yeah, it's like a loot drop situation. So I can only assume
like a video game.
I can only assume that logic still existed in some way where if it serves the game's ends, then it'll propagate what's needed. And I like the fact personally that he's not just. I mean, obviously, it's very violent. And
Conan destroys Jumanji with facts and logic.
It's a like he's gun mad for sure, right? But also like it's because Robin Williams' character rolled that up. He's the target. It's not that he's trying to kill everyone. He's killing his target. So he's absolutely serving the forces of the game by doing so. And the logic of the game says that like, okay, well, in the game world, you would just be given ammunition, but since you're in the real world, I've outfitted you with some gold so you can buy some and like buy an AK-47. I don't know. I mean, I'd say again, it doesn't need to be explained, but yeah.
I like that the guy instantly knows. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this form of ammunition has not been available since 1911," and it's like,
just that guy knows the year. It's like,
I'm not so like that.
They actually, ammosexuals are kind of like that. You're right.
Yeah, they
that is
snap
the thing.
next to you, correct you whenever you get something wrong. You know,
It's like this, so.
I really like the line though. He's like, you're not a postal worker, are you? And
Yeah.
That is so of the time, but still kind of like, whew, yeah.
I do think that his character is really important though, because like you were saying, Forrest, it is sort of like the manifestation of his fear of his father, and the game ends as he finally faces him, like without fear, and then it obviously segues back into the reversal of time, and then he actually faces his father and realizes that he has nothing to be afraid of.
It's the emotional journey that you're like, they took us on an emotional journey.
Man, I'm
Didn't
so sad.
realize.
Frankie and Yellowstone are not here, and everyone has a cat except for Forrest. I just realized that.
I have 4 cats. I can give you some.
And she's fast asleep right there.
Oh, sleepy baby.
I see them both. They're like huddled for warmth over on the other side of the room. It's cold in the house, so. They're like, fuck this.
we're like, we'll just wait for food.
Which I'm relatable. Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna fucking activate in about 45 minutes. But like, I think that I like, because of the logic of the game, that's the role that guy plays, and again, in the logic of the game, but also as the father figure that he needs to like stand up to, ostensibly.
I didn't realize it was that deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think it is. But
Jumanji.
That's why he plays. That's why Jonathan Hyde played the dad and also this character as well.
Wait, he was both?
It's the same guy.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Yo,
But
this is
I
how
also
I
think
felt
it's-
when
Really
I
good
found out
actor.
Tame Impala was just one guy. This is crazy. This is nuts. Wow.
But I dig it,
I've been
and
on a-
I think that like it's crazy
I've
how
been on a
nothing has
solid team
changed.
Politics, by the way, for the last I don't know, the entire time we were in the city, at least.
I
Those
saw
guys-
them
I
at
know,
Madison Square Garden.
I'm one step away from those dudes. They're one Kevin Bacon away.
Kevin Parker. I love them.
Yeah, I'm
Fantastic.
Once
Okay.
that movie comes out, I'm one step away from Kevin Bacon, so I'm excited about that.
Wait, there's another Kevin Bacon movie coming out?
No, the Kevin Bacon game. Where
8 degrees.
Jumanji with
7
Kevin
degrees is
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah. I think I'm 2 or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
How do we feel about the alternate timeline thing after the game is quote unquote won? Do we like it?
Yo,
You
my
have
boy
to
finally
do
got
it.
laid.
Yeah.
Forrest getting down to the things that matters. Our man got some.
Well, I don't know. She was in the thing, and he's mad oblivious, and she's trying to have a moment with him, and he doesn't like understand it, and he's just like, says something to her, and she's clearly sexually unsatisfied by Robin Williams just being oblivious to her. So I'm glad my man finally got some pussy in the alternate timeline.
I think Bonnie Hunt's got the greatest story because like she like remembers everything too, right? So she gets to remember this life that was like maybe not as well lived as she would have liked, and then gets a redo. Who the hell wouldn't want that? That's awesome.
Well,
I'm in. Let's go.
I'm getting a redo. I get to start over. Oh, let me.
But
let me
the
just go
kids
back in
don't
time.
remember.
Yeah, the
Why
kids
don't the
remember
kids
their parents'
remember?
death. Like, how fucked up would that be? Like,
Oh,
I
that's
have
true.
this. I was
Well,
born
because they
with a
didn't
memory of
die
my
because they
parents'
stopped them
death.
from dying
Yeah.
because they were like, hey, don't go on that trip. Oh no, don't go skiing. Don't do it.
No, and I
Okay,
think
move on.
I think it's actually what Conan said about the target, right? Like he's the target of the game after he's the one that gets trapped in it. Like so he remembers everything and she remembers everything. They're the first ones in it. It's their game. It's not the kids' game. The kids are kind of just there as like alternate characters that have gotten brought in to finish the game, but like they're not the ones that are the story revolves
Like
around.
when you bring in like like a parent that like I have to have more players to play this game, and like I don't really want to do this, but I'll do it because you're my kid.
I
Okay.
do like that they're still able to wrap it up with like having the kids still be in their life though. That was like nice. When I saw they went back in time, I was like, no, I was like, but that was it was such,
they've
like,
been
a-
through so much together.
I
You can't
know,
just
I was
leave
like,
that. Yeah.
And then like I saw their like the party and they're like they're here and I was like, oh. So yeah, it was a nice way to end. I was happy with that.
And again, it doesn't get overbearing about how it explains it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, it's like, well, we did the thing. Whatever. No. They're just there and like.
Well,
whatever.
can you
It's Christmas.
imagine?
It's Christmas.
Can you imagine
All
how
right.
frustrating it would be to get Robin Williams to explain anything in
Well,
detail?
they hired them. They
He's
found
like,
the parents and like hired them for something.
Yeah.
I forget
Which
what it
again,
was, but
perfect example
It makes
of like,
sense.
yeah, you get to like basically redo your life with what you know now. Right?
Yeah.
Then okay, great. That's awesome. I'm into it.
And he gets to fix his relationship with his father. Conan, do you want to do the Letterboxd one-liners?
Forrest, I would love to. So, of course, Letterboxd is a place for film, a place for film lovers to talk with and to each other about the movies they love, maybe the movies that they didn't love, maybe the movies that they got down in the basement, just randomly rolled some dice at. And, all of this is best expressed succinctly. Everyone gets to have their say. No, just not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. It's a bottom-up democracy. But, keep it tight, keep it succinct. Don't overstress it too much. These are the bits that we talk about on this bit, the Letterboxd one-liners. Please do it. Letterboxd one-liners for Jumanji. If you don't destroy your house every game night, that means you're playing the wrong board game.
True.
Well, sometimes, sometimes it's this game, sometimes it's fucking Monopoly, and you see everyone fucking trying to expropriate shit. You just kick over the game board and start fucking shit up.
Have y'all ever played Spoons?
Yes.
Holy fuck, that game is dangerous.
I definitely... I've had a couple things be broken. I'm going to use passive voice when I say that. Mistakes were made over games of Risk.
Punish Me Daddy will get you hurt. Like, I would know.
I, just like Sarah, have had over 2,000 hours of therapy, albeit for different reasons.
Yo, this was like prime therapy years too, right? Like
snaps
I feel like,
for that person.
This is when therapy wasn't just for like crazy people anymore. Like normal characters could be neurotic.
Therapy, not just for crazy people anymore.
But also for crazy people still.
Yeah, well, please, just
still totally for crazy people though. Don't leave us.
It's like Candace Owens' war on therapy.
The CGI monkeys are my new sleep paralysis demons.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yo, I do
Mine
not
is
like
Shane Dawson, but go off.
I do not like that they see the fucking flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz and start acting like them, because the flying monkeys of the Wizard of Oz legitimately are my sleep paralysis
That's
demons.
facts. That's facts.
They are terrifying.
Yeah.
Can put the one
You know,
Wizard of Oz. What the fuck?
They are.
We know.
Just do
Wizard
one of the
Oz.
other 45 books that haven't been adapted in that series.
Yes.
Yes.
And not
We
the
already-
one where she gets fucking electroshock therapy, Return to Oz, and that shit is fucking terrifying
that movie
too.
is
love it.
wild
watched that.
terrifying.
I watched
Also, we
that
already
way too
have
young.
a woke remake. It's called The Wiz.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
that's
just
true.
saw that.
It's got Michael Jackson.
Sorry, Oz.
David
go
Allen
broke, go
Greer's
broke.
in it. He's in the movie of it, or like was in some filmed production of it.
Horrors beyond your comprehension for kids.
Yes.
I have to disagree. I think
know,
I would
that's how we
have fun in
started
this
it.
world.
All right, well, you want me to go up to the attic? I can
Yeah.
see what I got.
I think I could do it.
We can roll the bones, as they say.
I'm built different.
All right.
Like Mark Wahlberg. If I was on that
sis.
plane on 9/11, things would have gone down
Exactly.
differently.
We had a Jurassic Park
It's
one-liner.
true.
That we had a Jurassic Park one-liner like last week that was just like I could have fucked up those dinosaurs.
Yeah, literally. What was that? What are they gonna do?
If I saw a little kid wander into a construction site, I'd probably let him dig around the dangerous machinery too, TBH.
I mean, especially if it's like a rich
Let
kid.
him cook. Let him
Yeah.
cook.
Oh, what's he up to? Who cares? It's like 64. Yeah.
Especially if it's like the rich kid whose dad owns the entire town. Like fuck that kid.
Yeah, look, you gonna stop him? I'm not.
Fight.
If I brought Jumanji to a game night, everyone would be pissed at me. Not because of all the animals and stuff coming out of it. It's just really bad game design. You just roll the die until you reach the end. Boring. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Has to be said. This movie is about a cop having the absolute worst day of his entire life.
And that's a good thing. That should be 5 stars.
This should be a life goal for
I mean,
all
maybe
cops.
that was written by a cop though. Maybe it's like,
But it's 3 stars. It's a centrist. It was written by Hillary Clinton.
Blue Lives Matter, maybe.
Sometimes.
Yo, but the version
Matter,
of
question
Jumanji
mark.
though that Hillary Clinton comes and murders you, like Seth Rich or whatever, like I fucking hate that.
If Hillary Clinton came out of that board game, that would be
jump scared.
I just don't know. I just don't know why that'd make Jumanji political.
We'd be like, we came, we saw, he died. You're like, God damn it.
Why don't they just roll the dice over and over? Why do they have to be at the house to play the game?
That's facts.
Well, because it keeps
Asking
getting
too much,
stolen. Keeps
Yeah,
getting
it's-
stolen.
Dude, that game is it's like rolling down the river now.
God,
Now it's over
pick an
there. It's over this
issue.
way. Like Jesus.
If only they
Put
had
some
the
Velcro
19
on that shit. Put it.
If only they had the
know?
1994 crime bill to help them make their game not stolen.
Womp womp.
Wow. When the boy looks like a monkey, it freaks me out.
See, that didn't really
Yeah.
freak me out, but it just
It
reminded me of
freaked
Plan
me
B.
out a bit.
Would you
I
like
don't
me to go
like
on Maggie
Uncanny
Joe's
Valley.
profile and tell her that? It did.
Yeah.
I thought he looked cute as a monkey.
He could have
Little
taken.
cheeks.
He could have beat up all of those animals.
Yeah.
It says.
Is that
And
why
he
he
also-
climbed the branch like that? Because he was getting his monkey powers?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he also could have
Because
fit on
like
that
right
door.
before he like does that little flip maneuver on
Yeah.
the tree branch to grab the board down the river.
These again. These are
There's
questions that the
foreshadowing.
movie is.
Developing monkey powers.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
It's
interesting.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I go,
Monkey,
"Hey."
monkey man.
I'm a monkey man.
The ease with which Van Pelt acquired a dangerous firearm was ahead of its time. You're not a postal
That's
worker,
facts.
are you?
I don't know. I mean, that post office joke just took me back. I mean, really.
Yo, Van
Yeah.
Pelt though would have killed it at CPAC.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would run for RNC chair apparently.
Yeah,
like,
he would
"That's
be at the
why I'm
Alex
killing
Jones
this."
trials today.
It's like, that's why I'm killing this Tarzan looking ass liberal. And they're like, "Scaring for it."
He would have been on Tucker Carlson talking about it. Not enough lore about the malicious spirit that decided it would be really funny to fuck people up with a board game. I want a backstory on that guy. That would be a different movie, but
Yeah.
intriguing.
And hopefully better than RIPD 2.
I don't know what that means. Encroaching angry drum noises intensify. some sound humor for y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of
I,
drums. At least you know they're coming.
It's like Jaws.
Drum,
It
drum,
is.
drum, 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 drum.
Exactly.
The part where Alan asks if his parents are still around, and the guy is like, "Yeah, I see him now and then. They're over on Adams Street." And then he goes to Adams Street, and it's a cemetery, and they're dead. I would have gone back and punched that guy in the face.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a fucked up way to approach that
Yeah.
situation.
I'd be like,
I think
yo,
the face
homeless
is too
guy.
kind.
Yo, homeless guy squatting in my dad's office. Fuck you. I hope you never find a home.
On the rewatch, I watched on the thing that's got the ads, and an ad came on for some like whatever, like probably boner pills or something. Right between those sections, I'm like, oh, that ruins like the pacing of this. Like where you see this like boom and they's at the gravesite, you're like, oh damn, that's jacked up. And like if you had to hear like like something about like TD Ameritrade or something in between, moving to extravaganza brought to you by TD Ameritrade, then it's gonna break the flow up of that bit. The visual humor, is it humor? It's more just messed up. But anyway, those are the letterbox one-liners for Jumanji.
It's
Of course,
a solid prank, is what it is.
it's a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He's
wrote my
razzing the guy.
letterbox review for Jumanji.
Well, people should follow the show. That's the monsoon over there. Always Flacco. You can find him, all the episodes that we do. He's logging all those. You can check out all Forrest thoughts. I am Conan, a game with drums Neutron. I'm at Conan Neutron, watching all the highbrow, midbrow, and some populist fare in there as well. Take the Criterion Challenge with me. I'm all over that biz. What year is it over there? Is taking a letterboxed sabbatical? Is it a sabbatical, Kristina?
Yeah.
But she's on there, so you can just follow her and just be ready for whenever she decides to kill again.
You will never know when I come back. It'll be a surprise.
Surprise! J. Andrew, A Cab includes Bad CG Monkeys World. That's a mouthful, my friend. Is watching all the weirdest stuff, so you don't have to, or maybe so you can.
I found some gems, certainly, but yeah.
I don't doubt
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot of averages, really. You watch a lot of stuff, dude. Rayyvana, I think you're still in Letterboxd Refuse, Nick, right? So, Ali is Crying, who I now follow. You were on there. It is the same name. That is the name that is on the screen. And I just looked at it for like 3 seconds, so I have no idea what you're up
My
to.
letterbox?
You're on there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So people should follow you. Is
Oh yeah, yeah.
conceit.
I watch random stuff. I'm trying to catch up. I'm not really like a valid like movie critic, but I'm an enjoyer and
You've seen this show, right?
Yeah.
The bar of entry is low. I'm just speaking about myself here. ACAB includes bad CG monkeys. Please take it away with the plugs.
All right, you're watching us on YouTube. Please do those YouTube
And-
things like comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and the big ass,
hit
of
the bell.
course, watch the video.
Hit the bell, monkeys came out of it.
Watch the video to the end because that lets other movie fans find us, and that you can also hear that great Conan Neutron song with all the flute. Because you need more flute. In your
Only
life.
2 more.
Yeah,
only 2 more for Movie Night Adventure this month. So
yeah, and
Pippa.
flute's all over that thing. I love it.
I didn't even know what a Pippa was. I was like, what the fuck's a Pippa? Oh, it's that thing.
Oh, I thought it was a pig in England.
Oh yeah.
Oi.
How did a pig get to England? I don't know.
We're hunting down the Pippa.
It swam.
Yeah, it makes a pig is really weird in England. It's strange. Anyways, we're on various social media sites. So follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Find out what new movies are. We have a Twitter community, and we're doing all kinds of fun things on various sites. So look for what we're doing. I'll tell you whenever I'm awake what those things are because
he's got to take a nap right now. But don't worry, the bit's gonna be this
He's been
exact
having
same
the whole
length.
time for those who are listening to the podcast and not able to see what's going on.
The bit's still gonna be just as long. He's just gonna get up and be refreshed at the end of it for once.
Exactly.
We are one of the things we are doing after party tonight is Oscar night extravaganza. We're going to talk about the nominees and what we're going to be covering next month because we are covering a lot of. The only Oscar nominee that we've covered is Everything Everywhere All at Once, best movie. But we have a bunch of other cool stuff coming up, so that's going to be immediately following the
That's
show.
not Elvis.
Yeah, and it's going to be led. Don't worry, it's going to be led by Kristina and I. So
yes.
Yeah, they snubbed they snubbed Nicolas Cage this year.
They did.
I think
They did.
the
lot of
only
snubs.
movies I saw last year were The Batman and Sonic 2.
Well, you're still watching the Batman, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's gonna take a while.
I
That
have,
move, take an hour off that movie is going to be a full star.
and
benefit
you
for me.
could, if you couldn't tell how I feel about The Batman.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands of all time. So it's all right.
I'm the Batman. Scooby-Doo.
Oh, wow.
Is that a band?
Not Scatman Crothers. Scatman. What was his name? What was his moniker?
Oh, Scatman. Oh my god.
Well, it was a song, his big hit that he
Oh, I
had at
know
like
Scatman.
50 plus.
I was a tap
after being
dancer.
a musician for like 20 years or something. Was about him overcovering his stutter. It's a very heartwarming
I'm the
story.
Batman.
And he had an incredible career for like 4 years and then he died. It's fucking nuts. It's a crazy.
That's
story.
crazy.
Scatman
Well,
John. That's what it was.
My tap teachers loved that song because they would make a. I had one teacher that would make us scat as we tapped, like with our feet.
Wow.
And make us like talk what we were doing with our feet. It was wild.
I feel like I'm doing that on this show sometimes. Andy, what's next?
Yeah, we have a Patreon. Please support our Patreon. That helps us get these things done and allows me to get sleep.
Thank you, Allie.
Yes.
Does it? Is that what's stopping you? Is there not enough money?
I guess John Ross
I don't
didn't
know.
hear a joke.
I-
right?
Are you doing like a
This is my
sleep?
John Ross joke.
I am sleep deprived right now, and like
yeah.
because let me tell
I
you
should
something.
have done the plugs.
Sunday I was at
Could've.
the
Yeah,
New
you
York
could've.
show, and then went out
Did
to a
the
bar,
revolution.
and then got my child and went on a bus and came home, but I couldn't sleep on the bus because somebody was blasting musicals most of the way home, and so I couldn't sleep because of the
Was it
frickin'
Kristina?
musicals. I don't know. It wasn't in English. That's all I know. I was like.
Are you guys
falling
all in
over.
New York?
No.
No.
But we were all in New York this last
They,
weekend.
they hung
Yeah.
out with like Sam
Yeah.
Cedar and Emma Viglin and all like
That
the
old
leftist
crew.
best crew.
What?
Not a brag or anything, but
I
actually?
announced the show. I announced the show. Forrest filmed it. Andy was doing like live courtroom drawing shit.
I
like an
wasn't
hour and
there
a half
because Sam
from
has
New
a
York.
restraining
What
order
the
against
fuck?
me.
yeah, exactly. I got Emma and Sam to agree to come on the show, so we'll see.
Woo!
Drunk talk. It's probably drunk talk.
Damn.
Sam
Yeah.
Cedar took Kratom seconds before going on stage. She like
Damn,
knocked him
do
out.
you
on
think
that.
you could put a word in with Sam for me to get an internship? No, you don't have to do that.
I don't know if
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's
don't know if they
literally
really
all my
Enjoy your
DMs
time
right
with
now.
them.
Let's have him on the show properly.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Asking
yeah.
favors.
I know
I'm
TMBS.
completely
I know
joking. I
TMBS
get it.
tried having an intern for a month. I don't think it. I don't know what they did.
Also, if Look, Kristina is the one that is going to get first priority as well, of course.
Oh no, yeah, no.
She's got a huge crush on him, so
she can
no.
she could be Sam Cedar.
I totally vouch.
I can
get
see
it.
the short right now. Christina smiling at Sam Cedar, like the little shorts. I can see Forrest just editing every time Sam.
like a supercut of them. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But you're right after that, Ali.
I've
Andy.
seen Internship.
Yeah. Hey, Conan, you have a
Hey,
radio
what?
show, a podcast.
Do I?
Not
Yeah, I
really
guess I
radio
do.
show.
Hey, Conan Neutron's radio show.
Listen here, see?
Man, like in the 1920s,
we're live
the
on
show
the
was off the
controller.
chain.
Here's the deal. We got breaking news, people.
But yeah, Protonic Reversal. Is there
Yes.
anything coming up this week?
Kevin Rootmanis of the Cows and Melvins and Hepatitis and whatever. Fantastic dude. He's got 2 records that came out this month. 2 people.
Wow.
So
Wow.
gonna have him back on for the first time since I started doing video for it a couple years
He's
ago.
like King
actually,
Gizzard.
Exciting.
that's like those guys and Guided by Voices wrote 7 records while this show was going on. That's like I'm like,
That's
how are you
crazy.
doing this? It's too much. But yeah, Kevin Rootmanis for people that know who that is.
Yeah, and if you led with the oh man, I just completely forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Let's move on. But Neutron Friends on Bandcamp.com. That's where you can get all of your Conan music.
My Conan music. You really are tired. Okay.
Oh, God.
All right, go get that Conan music over there.
Well, I can't even hate on Andy much because I was literally nodding out on the train while I was with you guys on fucking Friday. Like by the end of that night, I was just I like fell asleep against the wall while we were.
Yeah. That was when I was drunk and singing
it's days later, and I think I'm still recovering from it. Frankly, to put it bluntly, I mean, like,
yeah.
I told Francesca, I was like, I don't know what I just typed. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I got 4 hours of sleep between that night and me getting home. So
That's right. So the sun was in our eyes, people. That's what we're saying on this show. Why is
Yeah.
it terrible? Well, the sun was in our eyes. Everyone was tired.
exactly.
All right, come on, let's go. Well, I'm young. Let's go.
Yes,
Too late.
Yeah. Christina, you got anything coming up on your stream this week?
Well, we watched the miniseries Elvis and Me about Priscilla Presley's life with Elvis, which was a lot of fun. And people are like, wow, she was groomed. And I'm like, yeah, he was 24 and she was 14. What else would you call it? We're just going to do like React Andy stuff and talk politics and go over the Oscars tomorrow because I want to sleep tonight. Working from like 9 to 3 and then streaming from like another 9 to 3.
Yeah.
Love it for me.
Yeah, we're gonna keep our little bonus episodes the same. To be brutally honest, like it's not gonna be like the whatever the Murder Night Extravaganza wrap up or something. No,
Yeah.
no.
Are you going to do the recent Lifetime movies that Priscilla Presley did?
I well also too. That would be interesting. Something for me to think about.
We'll talk later. Okay.
Yeah.
But also,
I was gonna say you don't have to work it out on air. You know that, right?
Yes. Yeah. Go to coffee.com.
Kofianon.net.
And buy
Right.
Kofi. Yes. And buy Christina a coffee.
Yes. Ray, what you
Rayyvana, you're all over the place.
I am all over the place.
Wait, I'm sorry. You told her she's all over the place? Okay.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Like,
I know what you meant, but
she's got 3 shows.
Yeah, I'll be
Great
streaming
show.
every day for the rest of the week. Twitch.tv/Rayyvana. I'll be hosting the main show for TYT on Friday, so you can see that starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Goes to
Anna's on a vacay right now, isn't she?
yeah.
He's posting on
Yeah.
Instagram, but I'm like, lucky.
Yeah, so you're all stuck with me, so make sure to check that out.
Yeah.
I'd have to pull up my Google Calendar. Otherwise, see my videos on Rebel HQ. I got a lot of stuff coming up. Next Monday, I'm hosting Nina Turner's show. Oh, sorry, I'm not hosting on Friday. I'm hosting on Thursday, the main show. So check it out on Thursday.
My
I'm glad
competition.
I'm glad I opened up my calendar.
I love Nina.
But yeah, so
She gives the best hugs.
I got a lot of, I think every Friday for the next couple weeks, I am hosting the main show. So just make sure to watch that.
When the television is indiscriminately on, it's tuned to the Roku Young Turks channel. So
Nice.
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a customer. I walk into the house and they got TYT on. I'm like, I know those people. He's like,
I
I'm like,
have
no,
it on
really?
at my school in the student center.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty
Like
cool.
there was one with you. I'm like, that's my friend. He's like, you know that Rayyvana chick? I'm like, she's one of my closest friends. And he's like, that's cool. I'm like, yeah.
That's crazy. I love that.
And then he was like, "Is she in the room with you right now?" And you're
The room where it happened.
And Ali, is that right, Ali?
Ali. Okay, that's what my Bluetooth
Wow.
speaker calls me when I connect.
Well, it is true that Muhammad is crying. So
Nah, I've gotten so many DMs from like
Why don't we just have
Muslim men
Kristina do
being
the
like,
plugs? I think everyone would be better.
Yeah, Ali
so
does
many
gaming.
have been like name twins, and I'm like not exactly, but I love the energy. So yes, name twins. I'll take it.
Where can folks find you on the internet?
Okay, so I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays when I can. At twitch.tv/AliIsCrying. And I've also been working a lot on YouTube content. I want to do more like media stuff. So I have some things coming up. I have a video coming out in the next few weeks. I upload 3 days a week on YouTube too, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mostly gaming, but some are commentary. So I have a video coming out on the He Just Like Me movies. So I talk about a few like American Psycho, The Wolf of Wall Street, movies like that. And then I'm also working on a big project on Weekend Update on SNL. So I'm working on a long video essay of all the weekend updates that have ever happened.
Wow.
You gotta have some of the Norm Macdonald ones in there.
I'm so excited to get to Norm Macdonald. Oh
Yeah,
my
he's-
god.
he's-
So I'm at
the greatest.
right now I'm at season 4, so I got
Jesus. 75 more years to go, I think, right? Is that how long Nacho's been there?
Well, I like it right
Feels
now
like it.
because it's Jane Curtin, and I love Jane Curtin.
Oh, Jane Curtin's amazing. Yeah.
I'm Jane Curtin, and here now the news. Our top story today. So it's a lot of that right now.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
I was just about
Jane,
to
you ignorant slut.
I wasn't because I knew one of y'all would gonna. I would be disappointed if it wasn't.
By the way, what do you
Yeah.
guys think of our after party graphic? It's for the, the Oscar nominations.
What I think about it doesn't matter. It's already out in the world.
I am probably no use to the Oscars because don't think I've seen any of the nominees. So
I mean, you don't have to like have seen
It's
them.
not
I mean, it's
compulsory.
just fun to talk about
It's
them.
fun to
if you
hang
wanna,
out.
yeah.
We're more loose, even though we're pretty loose. right now,
Christina and I have the
Okay.
strongest opinions about this stuff, so we're gonna drive it.
Yes.
okay, I'll probably pop in for a bit.
That's
All right.
Exactly.
But yeah, so jumping into final thoughts. Ali, do you have anything you wanted to add that we didn't get to, or any concluding thoughts for this?
About Jumanji?
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of weird watching it for the first time, but I kind of felt like the nostalgic factor to it just because it had, I think because of the actors in it, it still felt nostalgic to me because I grew up watching Robin Williams all the time and Kirsten Dunst. I love her. I've been a fan of her like my whole life. I love her. But I thought like I love like corny comedy adventure. Like I think I needed like a solid like fun kids movie that I didn't need to think much about in my life recently because I've just been going through it. I just need something wholesome, fun, and I just think that it's a good movie for when you need it, and I think it's very good for what it is, even though like compared to other things maybe it's not like the best movie ever, but I think we need movies like that. I think it's an important movie.
You're correct. Yeah, absolutely. That's a astute observation. I agree with you.
I think that's about all I have to say.
All right, Ray. I know this is one of your favorite movies of all time.
It is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's very cute. It has a sweet story. And of course it has a huge nostalgia factor for those of us who watched it for the first time when we were kids. Our first horror movie for many of us. But yeah, I guess just stay away from the big mosquitoes.
Oh my god.
They'll suck you dry. Like
Kanye hated
liberals.
this film because he misread it as Jumanji.
Oh no.
The visual gag, but you can guess. Folks who listen to the podcast, you can
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
That's great. Great.
Yeah, Kristina.
Yes. I first saw this film when I was 11, 12 years old, and I thought it was, like a little like odd, but I overall enjoyed it. And then rewatching it again recently, it just reminded me of like Robin Williams was just fantastic, and it just taken from us way too soon, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just don't think this film would work if it wasn't for him, or even like Bonnie and Jonathan Hyde. I feel like this is like a perfectly cast film. And if you're someone who's like, should my kids watch this? Yes, it's as Rayyvana said, the first horror film to expose your kids to is Jumanji.
Also, kids nowadays are not going to think Jumanji is scary.
Yeah, especially today.
Now you can just see like somebody get murdered by.
Clearly, we opened this
think-
show that way.
I think Paw Patrol at this point is probably scarier than Jumanji. I've seen some clips of Paw Patrol, and I'm like,
I don't know what that is, but I already hate it.
Okay.
They're like,
don't worry about it.
kids
Talk
watch-
about
kids watch
questionable
Jumanji
cop
now. They're like,
content.
the cops didn't murder anyone. This is not a realistic movie.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, Andy.
This was actually a fun rewatch because I don't think I've seen it since I saw it in the theater. I mean, maybe caught it on TV, but yeah, it just but yeah, I mean, Robin Williams is always great and always welcome, and David Alan Grier, especially. I always love it as like coming in as like the straight man for a lot of scenes where like he's the relatable character that gets piled on to, and he's always fantastic as that. And it's great to see him do that with somebody like Robin Williams. So that's fantastic. And I've actually seen artwork from the original picture book, because right around the corner from where I live there is a gallery which covers a lot of that represents a lot of picture book artists.
Well, you also saw it in the intro. I had like 5 pictures from the.
He wasn't watching that. He fell asleep.
No, I was asleep, and I've actually seen it in person. So what do I care about your stupid intro? No.
Yeah, well.
No,
I'm Tron here.
Someone needs to be taking a nap.
But no,
I thought I was the cranky one on this fucking show.
Fucking grumpy grandpa over here.
Move over, Conan.
But yeah, no, it's so great to be able to actually have seen various parts of this movie in other forms too. So yeah, that's I think all my thoughts. I am now thoughtless.
All right. Well,
never.
Andy's brain's turned off. Conan, final thoughts.
Look, I do think this is a really intense film for a movie that's ostensibly a children's adventure movie, and I think there's a lot to it. But I love that the concept's so simple and easy to understand. It's a magical board game that's basically a crucible for the players.
Player, you board game.
But I love the simplicity of that, and it's all based on dice rolls. There's literally no skill necessary whatsoever, but you get a great time with giant bugs, ill-mannered monkeys, and stampeding rhinos. I'm here for it. It's when I think of your classic adventure movies, this absolutely qualifies, and this is I'm glad we got to cover it. I'm glad it gave me an opportunity to rewatch it because it's been a long time, and I do like the sequels, but that is an entirely different conversation, and we're not going to get into it here. Also, as mentioned before, a great Robin Williams movie, R.I.P. to a legend. And lastly, adventurers beware, do not start unless you intend to finish.
Yeah, that's what I always say. All right, well, join us in the after party. Join us in the after party.
He's known for saying
We will be, that's my catchphrase.
A lesson all men need to learn.
We will we will be there momentarily. Give us 5 minutes. I am going to go make a bunch of margaritas that I made upstairs. So, join us and we will talk about the Oscar nominations.